I only got one more night. I'm gonna leave out loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make movies
What up,
about.
what up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Von. Mr. Von, Channel Sweatbox. We back, we live, we active here on the channel. Yes, indeed. You know how we do. Still dodging those digital jabs. Yes, indeed. We are here to talk about, spoiler review, to talk about Matt Reeves' The Batman. It is out in theaters. It is crushing. It's doing huge numbers. Let's talk about it. Like I said, spoiler review, spoiler alert. So we giving away all the we giving away all the secrets, all the spoilers. We talking about all of that. So if you haven't seen it, why would you watch a spoiler review? That's all I'm gonna say. This movie stars Robert Pattinson as Batman, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, and Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, and Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennywise. Real quick, Peter Skarsgard also has a role in this. He plays Gil Carlson, who's like a DA. I believe he was a DA. He's only got like two or three scenes, but he's dope, and they're great scenes. I mean, spoiler alert, the scene with him at the funeral was just an awesome scene. The way he comes out of the car with the phone taped to his head, looking just crazy, just bomb on the neck, So it's been said by other reviewers. I'm sure if you watched other reviewers, but it's true. But I just have to say this because, first of all, I'm a huge David Fincher fan, and this movie has just Fincher fingerprints all over it. Shouts out to Matt Reeves for, if you're gonna steal from somebody, steal from the best. You know what I'm saying? And I say that in a complimentary way. I don't mean stealing like he's doing something wrong. Obviously, Matt Reeves knows what he's doing. There's elements in this movie that directly are from Fincher films, whether it be Zodiac, whether it be Seven. I mean, David Fincher is one of my favorite filmmakers. Seven is one of my all-time favorite. It's definitely one of my top 20 just favorite films of all time. I've watched that movie so many times. When I first started collecting DVDs back in the early 2000s, it was one of the first DVDs I bought. I had this super dope box set that looked like the notepads that John Doe was writing in. It was just, I love Seven. I love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. Zodiac is an extremely good movie too. You got it. So I love Fincher. Fincher's a great director. So for Matt Reeves to use so many elements of those two films in particular and put them into the Batman, I thought it was just great. You know what I'm saying? The costume cues from the Riddler, which were taken from the Zodiac killer, at least his depiction of the Zodiac killer in his movie Zodiac, I thought was great. The use of ciphers taken from the Zodiac film, I thought was super great. The opening of this film, that first shot of when the Riddler's in the house, and then the lightning, you see him in the darkness, and that was such a good shot. Oh, that was such a good shot. And I saw this movie on Saturday, the opening Saturday, and man, I was just so impressed with this movie. So let's talk about Paul. We talked about Paul Dano's Riddler a little bit. Let's talk about Robert Pattinson's Batman. This is Batman year 2, so he's still kind of young. He's still kind of young in the game. Most of the time, he goes by Vengeance. You know, there's that scene that was in the trailer. Oh, who are you supposed to be? And then he beats up these dudes, and he's like, I'm Vengeance. I mean, that's like what he's known as. That's like almost his name. I think he's only referred to the Batman like 2 or 3 times. Obviously, the Riddler refers to him as to the Batman on all the letters that he leaves for him. First of all, the opening of this film too. After the Riddler scene, you get the whole scene of Robert Pattinson doing voiceover as Batman. Batman doing voiceover and talking about how he's the Knight, and once the bat signal goes up, and you show all these criminals just scared of the Batman, that he might be in the shadows. And then once he comes out the shadows, baby, he starts putting hands on people. That's that scene that was in the trailer of him fighting the gang of the painted dudes. Yeah, that's a great scene. This is a really good scene. You have the kid who has the half paint because he's not fully initiated into the gang. I thought that was clever. And yeah, man, Matt Reeves he just did a really good job with the whole feel of this. The way he shoots Gotham was really, really well done. I love, and now I've seen some other people speak on this, and I want to speak on it too because I think it's very accurate. I love how there's no separation in this early year Batman between Batman and Bruce Wayne. There's no separation. There's not two separate personas. There's not Playboy billionaire Bruce Wayne and the dark brooding Batman. No, he's Batman all the time. Even when he's not Batman, I thought that was super interesting because that's really the first time we've seen that. We've always seen the Playboy billionaire Bruce Wayne and then the Batman. No, he's Batman even when he's Bruce Wayne. Like in the funeral scene, and he shows up, and everybody knows who he is because he's the Prince of Gotham. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know 1,000 miles so somebody doesn't recognize you. So yeah, but he's still just brooding. He's just and some people don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with it because it's year 2. He's still very much into the whole. It's all about vengeance. It's all about me dishing out punishment to these criminals. That's what it's all about. So I was really interested in that. I thought that was a good take on Batman. And then by the end of the film, he realizes he has to become more than that. As he feels like, as the Penguin had misconstrued the whole idea of what he was, and the Penguin thought they would be allies. And when he's fighting that last dude, and he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm vengeance." And he's like, "I done fucked up." So I like the growth. I think it's growth for year 2. I think this is great. This is a great Batman story. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was just very great. He was really good, unrecognizable. I love how he was really good. He's getting his own spinoff. That chase scene between him and the Batman with the Batmobile sounding like a dinosaur coming after you. I mean, I love that scene because that was at that moment he felt like an unstoppable force. And from the Penguin's perspective, he felt like an unstoppable force. And I like that because that's how you instill fear. That's for the storyline for the criminal underworld of Gotham. That's how you want to instill fear. That was great. I mean, that chase scene is first remarkable. It's just well done anyway. So I like that. I thought that was really well done. So that's what I thought about that scene. Now, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I thought she did a really good job. They did the take from the comics where she's related to Falcone, where she's related to Carmine Falcone, who's played by the lovely, the always wonderful Turturro. Great, and that whole storyline. I love the way they used the villains in this was really good because they have Penguin being kind of an underling to Falcone in this one, and I thought that was just really, you know what I'm saying. He's not the Penguin. He's not super villain Penguin yet. He's kind of an underling, so he's still, because at the end of this film, I mean, none of them. Falcone gets killed, obviously, but at the end of it, Penguin's still alive. Riddler's still alive. Riddler's locked up in Arkham, and then he has the whole Joker scene. So I thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was absolutely necessary. That felt like it should have been a post-credit scene. I've heard some people say that. I definitely agree. That felt like it should have been a post-credit scene. Good scene. And then the dude who plays, what's his name from the Eternals, he did good, and I guess he's going to be the Joker. But who knows where they're going to go with that. That could have just been a teaser. We might not ever see the Joker again. I don't know. I mean, we've seen so many iterations of the Joker. Do we need another one at this point? So... But it was still a good scene, though. I liked the scene in a vacuum without being too judgmental. It was still a good scene. The ending. People are saying it was anticlimactic. I liked the ending. The whole thing, like I said, once Batman realizes, and then how. I mean, because he, like I said, a lot of people say, yo, he didn't even do anything. Like Riddler still blew up the city, still flooded the city. He still did everything. He still had his minions. I mean, he saved so everybody didn't die. But the city was still flooded and ruined, and so I think it was a year 2 Batman showed his mistakes, and I thought that was well done. At the end of it, I thought how he was able to still save the people and then get that transition into, okay, I need to be more than just vengeance. I need to be more of a light to people, you know what I'm saying, as he was rescuing the people and saving them. I like that was you come full circle, you know what I'm saying, with that. The fight scenes in this, man, great. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that first scene where he's beating up the dude, the painted face dudes, that was really well done. The scene where he goes into the club and just is roughing up those dudes is real done. There was something they did really clever with this, because the whole club within the club, it was very clever, because the first time he shows up, you know who I am? And he shows up as Batman. And they're like, yeah, we know who you are. And then they come out and he fight him. He has to beat the dudes up. And then the second time he comes back as Bruce Wayne, he's like, you know who I am? They're like, yeah, you're Bruce Wayne. Come on in. And they just let him in because he's Bruce Wayne. And then the third time, he just goes and sneaks in. He just goes in as Batman, but he just sneaks in. I thought it was great. It's just like, yeah, you get all the facades of what he can do as Batman. That was great. And then that last fight scene, when he comes in through the roof, it was vintage young Batman. I like that. I like the use of his gadgets. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing too much. Another scene that I thought was great that I almost forgot about was when he was in the interrogation room after he had took the blast from the Joker's explosion at the funeral, and the police have him, and that whole scene with the police was so intense. He's like, we got you for an assault on the officer, and I just assaulted 2 more. It's like, Batman, bro, you're in the whole room. They could really stomp you out if they wanted to, but he didn't care. He was hardcore. He was hard. He was hard. They kept trying to snatch his mask off. He was like, what's up? I'll smell anybody try to touch me. He's getting these bad hands. Is what he was saying. I loved it. I thought it was dope. And then when Gordon was like, well, we got to get you out of here. So he was like, knock me out, and he hit him. He's like, yeah, you could have pulled your punch. He's like, I did. This movie has some nice moments of levity. It wasn't funny. There's not really much comedy in it, but there's moments of levity, like you see in the trailer when he's talking to the camera. He said, you got a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? Or the whole thing with Riddler doing all these complicated things just to make them figure out that it's URL for the website, and then they had the thumb drive with the literal human thumb attached to the flash drive. I was like, okay, you guys are clowning. I get it. It's little moments of levity like that I appreciated, even though I said there's not much comedy in it. This is definitely a dark movie. But I like it, man. I like it. I still am not gonna put it up there with Dark Knight, and obviously, you know what I'm saying. And BVS, I think, is its own separate thing. So I don't know. I don't personally think it's fair to compare BVS because that's such a fantastical, bigger than life, you know what I'm saying, movie. You know what I'm saying, him and Superman. So I don't think it's fair to compare it to that. But a fair comparison is to Dark Knight, and I don't think it's as good as Dark Knight. Still a great film, though. Still a great film, and we'll see where he goes. If he does a trilogy, then we'll have a fair comparison to where this compares to the Dark Knight trilogy versus Matt Reeves' trilogy. But overall, Matt Reeves, you came out the gate gangbusters. This was a phenomenal job. Well done. I can't say enough. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff. Zoe Kravitz, I want to speak again. Her relationship with Bruce in this, I think, was really well done. The decision at the end to have her leave to go to what city was that? The city that Nightwing is doing. I don't remember the name of the city, but sure, and that whole scene with them on the bikes at the end, visually looks good. Visually, it looked good with them on the bikes, and then they go their separate ways. Drug out a little bit too long. Did this movie really need to be 3 hours? I feel like they definitely could have trimmed some stuff. I'm not complaining because there's not a shot in this movie that doesn't look phenomenal. I mean, Matt Reeves, he does such a good job of that. So, but I feel like you could have trimmed. Some of the shots didn't need to be as long. But I don't know. I'm not complaining about a 3-hour film, but you probably could have trimmed it down to maybe 2:30, 2:40. So anyway, overall, great job. Matt Reeves comes out gangbusters. Another one, Batman. We'll see what comes next. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna give this movie, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 for the Batman from Matt Reeves. Very good. I recommend it. Go see it in theaters. Go see it in the biggest screen possible with the best sound possible. Get the full effects. It's Batman. You got to do it big. You got to do it big. So that's my review of the Batman here on Mr. Von's channel, Sweatbox. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click those notifications so you know when we upload. And until next time, make sure you check out the travel vlogs, man. I'm going to be uploading the Cancun vlogs very soon. I got the first one up, so we're going to be uploading. We got a whole bunch of those. Cancun was fabulous. And we'll see where the next adventure is. But until next time, you know how we do. Peace.
I'ma go to the ends with you. I'ma go to the end with you. I'ma go.